In this video, we'll learn how to wirelessly connect the HoverCam Orbit to your computer via wireless USB. If you get to the end of the video and you're running into trouble, check out the Orbit wireless troubleshooting video next. Please note, if you're an integrator or IT team deploying more than one Orbit, please take each box into its intended room before attempting connection. Each camera is factory paired to its individual receiver, and they are not interchangeable between pairs. Please do not attempt to unbox and connect more than 3 cameras in any one room, as that will lead to cross-channel interference issues. For the best performance, we recommend only operating 1 pair per room. Before we get started, you'll need a fully charged HoverCam Orbit camera, the Orbit wireless receiver, and one of the 2 USB cables. You'll also need a computer to connect the wireless receiver to. This could be a Mac, Chromebook, or a PC computer, like a laptop or an OPS computer behind an interactive flat panel. You'll also need a camera viewer software running on your computer. For PCs or Macs, we highly recommend the HoverCam Flex software, downloadable for free from our website at www.hovercam.com/software. Generic camera apps pre-installed your device should also work, like the apps simply named Camera, found on most PCs, Chromebooks, and Android interactive flat panels, as well as QuickTime Player, found on Macs. You can also use the Orbit with many third-party apps, such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams. Let's get started. First, if your model of wireless receiver has an adjustable antenna, rotate it upwards. For heat dissipation purposes, do not let it lay flush against the receiver's body during operation. Now you're ready to connect the Orbit's wireless receiver dongle to your computer using either the USB-C or USB-A cable, depending on your computer's available USB port type. Please make sure you are not using the cable marked Power Only. If your computer is on, the connected receiver will automatically power on and begin searching for the Orbit camera, indicated by the flashing blue wireless connection indicator. Now with the computer on and the wireless receiver plugged in, open up your camera software. Power on your Orbit camera if it's not on already. Like the receiver, the camera has its own wireless indicator that will flash as it attempts to connect to the receiver. When both indicators on the camera and receiver turn solid blue, the pair is successfully connected. Connection happens automatically and should take anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. While the receiver is searching for the camera, you'll see a loading screen, but it's not uncommon for the pair to connect so fast that you won't even see the loading screen. Once the camera connects, the loading screen will be replaced by the live camera image. Now let's talk about positioning the receiver. Both the camera and receiver must be within the same room, and both antennas must maintain indirect line of sight with one another. Unlike Wi-Fi, Orbit's higher frequency signal does not pass through walls and other objects, so its signal needs to be able to form a path to the receiver. However, the signal can bounce off walls and ceilings in order to find its way to the receiver, so it's not always necessary to face the camera's antenna directly towards the receiver. But if you're experiencing a rough connection, facing the camera's antenna directly towards the receiver will give you a more stable connection. And for future reference, if your camera image is now sideways or upside down after facing the camera towards the receiver, you can actually correct the camera image by using the sensor rotation and flip image button. But more on that later. Now, once again, it's important not to completely block either antenna, or you may experience a weak signal or failure to connect. Keep this in mind when you are sitting in front of the camera. Hovering over its antenna can cause signal interruptions. If you're connected to a laptop, just position the receiver on the desk next to your laptop with plenty of open space to receive the video signal. If you're connecting to an interactive flat panel, we recommend mounting the receiver as high as possible on the bezel of the panel using the included mount, and directing the receiver's antenna towards the camera. If the cable doesn't quite reach the top of the panel, you can always mount the receiver on the side of the panel. Just get it as high up as possible. Do not hide the receiver behind the panel, as this will eliminate the line of sight required for a stable connection. The antenna must have a completely unobstructed view of the camera. Now, if you're having trouble connecting Orbit or you're experiencing connectivity issues, check out the Orbit wireless troubleshooting video. To turn off Orbit, simply press and hold the power button until the indicator lights turn off. You do not need to power off or unplug the receiver, as it will automatically turn off when the computer is powered off, and turn back on again when you turn on your computer the next day. And of course, don't forget to charge the Orbit with the included power brick after use.